Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abnormal Investigations. I know y'all's probably been waiting for this one for a while, and it is finally here. I'm going to go ahead and throw Randy on with us real quick. Let me make just a small adjustment here to the camera, maybe. There we go. Yeah. Mr. Randy, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, Mike. Clearly. Can you hear me? Check.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. You sound really low. I don't know why. Usually you're louder.
How about now?
But
Is that
still
better?
Pretty low. Let me see if I can hear Jesse better than I can hear you.
How about anybody else? Am I coming in low for everyone or just Mike? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I hear you?
I think Mike is having technical difficulties.
Let me check real quick.
If you can
There
hear me
we go.
loud.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. Okay, I found out. It was me. I couldn't hear Jesse at all.
Okay, there. Now can you?
Now I can hear her. All right.
I can hear you, Jess. Now that we can all hear each other, that helps, right?
Yeah, I'm not much of a lip reader, and I don't know much sign language. And the sign language I do know would probably get me in trouble.
Yeah, words do tend to get you in trouble in sign language, don't you? Don't they?
I know enough in sign language and Spanish to get myself in trouble for sure. Hello, Kayla. Well, I know that Kaylee got some eye shine last night. She was pretty excited about that.
How is Kaylee doing today? That's the $1 million question.
She's doing good. She's actually going out with me tomorrow night on the Boots on the Ground.
Nice.
So
I was afraid that might be a little bit too much. That would be 9 damn Sasquatches at once. My God, son. Talk about being outnumbered. I don't know if you had enough bullets.
that was the most I've ever had in one night. I mean, they look like the woods look like Christmas lights, dude.
Yeah, there was a lot of eye shine, even from our end.
I've never seen that many. Not in one night at all.
What triggered that many to come out? Was it Your daughter, or was there something else going on?
I think it was a female in the woods.
Did you hear that first response after the first call that she made?
Yeah. Another thing also, it was bad enough that my security team had moved up to about a half a mile away from me, and they didn't even tell me.
Oh, wow.
They had already moved up, and they were watching me on thermal. And no, it was not a camera. They was already watching.
Could they see the other stuff could they see the other things on thermal too?
No, we were outside of the tree line, and they were in the tree line, but they could see us well enough that if anything would have broke the tree line, that it would have been bad news. Especially if Big Bertha would have started barking, as he says.
Yeah, those dragons breathing fire, don't they, Mike?
Yeah, my little dragon would be put to shame compared to what he has, though.
Yeah, but you don't want that anywhere near happening to be shot by you. You don't want him to. They're that close. You're in serious danger, bro.
You know, he was telling me he had to do that one time whenever he was over. He calls it the sandbox. And he said it literally sounds like a Volkswagen going over your head.
And you know those creatures know he's out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't care how stealthy you are. These things have other senses than you and I do.
Oh, definitely. I'm tired, though. I am wore out. We went out last night. I was up all night working on this and dropping shorts and everything. I've had about 2 hours sleep since yesterday, so I'm running on low fuel.
Well, we done tonight, bro.
Yeah, we done a lot of videoing today for Wide Open Adventures, really pushing that. And I got like a 2 hour power nap. I don't think Kaylee slept much at all either. She was up pretty late last night helping me. She was helping me get the shorts prepared, and she was cropping and clipping and eye shining, and we had a few laughs over some of the clips. It was pretty good. But all in all, you know, we came out okay, and she's still ready to go, and she's going out tomorrow. So, you know, it was a good night. For some reason, the creek was active. We'll talk more about the boots on the ground after we go through this, and we'll visit about that at the end, like we always do. I wanted everybody to know too, all of our Patreons and our members and everybody, the boots on the ground from AI Seeking the Truth with Kaylee on the 23rd. That rear view footage is now available on the members and the Patreon channel. So you all now have access to that. So all the members and Patreon members, it is out now. I've done that all night last night too. Edited that and dropped every bit of that. So that's all done. Had a lot of people ask me if I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, to put it nicely. And yes, I am going to be doing the camping trip. Probably going to be the first part of September. I'll be doing the overnight camping trip. What I'll do is I will do a regular boots on the ground that night. We'll get them all good and stirred up. And I will
You're going to go poke the
I'm gonna poke the beast and provoke him and shout at him and tease him and everything, and then I'm gonna go to bed, or at least, you know, go to camp, and I'm going to video log what's going on the whole time, you know, and then at 3 a.m. that night there will be a second live, and I will do an update live with you all to let you all know what was going on. That way y'all, you know, can jump back on if anybody's up at 3 a.m. and y'all can kind of see what's going on and stuff like that. So I will be putting that date out. I don't have that date done. I was so wore out last night, man. I've been talking to other people coming on the show and scheduling people. And last night was hell, man. I was up all night. And then to turn back around, tomorrow night, guys, we are going to be back, boots on the ground. Kaylee and I will be boots on the ground tomorrow night at 8:30. So a turnaround, back to back, boots on the ground. So there's a lot going on. It takes a lot to make it happen. So who we got in our chat tonight? It looks like we got Lisa, we got OCST, we got Dawn Moore, we got Miss Kaylee Louise herself. Catherine is in there. Tyler 420, good to see you. See a lot of familiar faces. Mike, when you show up to cryptids, they're probably like, "Oh no, it's a crazy guy." Yeah, they probably do get a little frustrated with me, I'm sure, because I've been going down there quite a bit. Hello, Robert. Hello, Jace of Spades. Jace of Spades. I need to get my glasses fixed. Nancy, Michelle McGuire, Sharon Guy is moderating tonight. It wouldn't be alive without Sharon McGuire. Or Sharon. Man, I can't think tonight. Sharon Guy. Good to see you. You tell I haven't had no sleep, Randy. I've got sleep deprivation. You went through that, didn't you? You got to play that game.
Yeah, I didn't sleep for like 3 days and 3 nights after that encounter, dude, because it was like, I didn't even talk to my wife about that encounter until 3 days later. After I thought about that for 3 damn days and 3 nights.
Right.
Before I told anybody, because it's like, who's going to believe me, you know? I mean, seriously.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Hello, Dana. Good to see you, Dana. Nancy's in there. She's moderating, so thank you, Nancy. Lisa's moderating, so good to see you, Lisa. And as always, guys, we've got the best moderators on the web and the best subscribers. It couldn't surprise me. Yeah, Kaylee's going to get a surprise tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, they may be really ramped up because we're only going to be just a little ways from where we was at last night. So...
And if you didn't have all these witnesses seeing all this eye shine and hearing all these noises, who would believe your story?
No one. I wouldn't believe it.
Exactly. Yeah, we had 9 tracks. We had 9 Bigfoot surrounding us last night, and they were like, "Yeah, you're full of it, man. You're just making things up." I mean,
what have you been out there smoking? You've been smoking them grapevines.
Exactly.
But yeah, and as always, guess what we got coming up? September 1st, I'll be releasing the Bigfoot video. So everyone will be able to see exactly.
That's exciting.
That's going to be I believe, the change all where everyone's going to see, hey, wow. Last night, I don't know if y'all could see it. I haven't went back and reviewed footage. A lot of people sent me messages saying that they did see them. So a lot of people are saying they did see them last night. So one point, I think one person said that they saw one was right before I said they're the same color as the ones I seen on the video. One guy said, yeah, I know. I saw the whole thing standing there. I don't know if you noticed or not, but on the one where the one stood up, did you notice how tall that eye shine got whenever it went from the crouching position to the standing position?
Yeah.
How high do you estimate that was?
Randy, I hate to say, but I want to say 10, 11 foot.
I mean, it seemed like it was tall already, and then I wasn't expecting it to actually stand up and go higher. That was...
Yeah, because it went from grass height to like probably 8 foot to 11 foot.
Yeah.
No, I know we got some 20-foot or 20-foot tall trees, maybe a little bit higher. I've seen werewolves stand up as high as the tallest trees around here. That puts them over 15 foot. And I've seen those same 15-foot werewolves hiding in knee-high grass get within a couple feet of me before I saw them. And that's no joke when they stand up a couple feet away from you. That'll definitely wake your ass up. It's like, that's not a damn coyote when it does that.
Right. Yeah. Well, OCST has saw the video, and like you said, everyone will get to see what's out there clearly, you know. Yeah, I don't think there'll be any questioning the video at what you're looking at when we produce the video. That dog heard somebody. Yeah, Kaylee says it was super tall. Michelle McGuire says 10 to 13 foot. That was probably the tallest one I've seen. Was that one?
They get much bigger, Mike.
That one there, he had me. Having Kaylee out there also made me more defensive. I was real close to squeezing the trigger on that one.
Notice that one when you confronted him and told him to back off and listen to you. I wonder why that is.
Maybe because he had something pointed at him.
Perhaps. But that really, if they were trying to do something to you, they could. I mean, think of if they wanted to hit you with a big ass limb to take your ass out. Those little ones, that's a love tap. What they hit you with in the face compared to that 1,700 rock or 1,700 pound rock. Imagine that whacking you in the head, dude. You'd be dead. You'd be done. It'd be over.
Right.
So if they wanted
and another concern I had too was it didn't try to hit me; it was trying to hit Kaylee.
I don't think it was. If it was trying to hit her, it would have. That's my opinion. If it wants to hit you, it'll hit you. It could have thrown a follow-up if it was intending to hurt her. I think the first one was a warning, although that was a big-ass stick, and it was close to her. I mean, this is my opinion. I could be wrong. If they wanted to hit her, then they could have thrown a second stick to follow up. I think the first one was a warning. That's my opinion based on what I observed.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Why? Because y'all were just standing there. Was there something they didn't want y'all to see? Were there little ones around there?
What if it wasn't males? What if it was females jealous of Kaylee being down there?
Could be.
Yeah, because they're a lot prettier than the other females of the. Don't want the. And this was.
Hey, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
This idea was from the wolf lady. This was her idea. I'm not going to take her idea, but this was her idea. She was like, perhaps the females were jealous of her because she's so pretty, and the female, whatever they are, don't want Kaylee near the male. And I thought that was a really good conclusion to perhaps what we witnessed.
Right.
With this incident.
And Randy, just so you know, Sunshine is taking your side, so we're going to ban her right now. No, not really. Just joking, Sunshine.
You're fired. You don't agree with me? Fired. I'm kidding.
I'll start doing the Donald Trump. You're fired. I'm working on another show coming up. I'm putting myself really on spot. I've been staring at this computer for the last 3 days. Almost nonstop working on some things. One of the things I'm working on, I think, will be one of my best videos to date. Hey, Mom. 1 second.
Hello, kitty. That's the kitten, right?
Yes.
It's getting so big.
Yeah, he's growing.
So what I'm working on, and it is not going to be an easy one. It's going to be one of my hardest in depth ones. And Randy and Jesse, y'all probably want to study into it too. It's going to be interesting, but I know it's going to draw probably a ripple in the community. But I'm not doing it for the ripple. I'm doing it because I want to know also. My thing is going to be, and I think a lot of people ask this question, how did the Nephilim survive the flood? How did they come over? And I've been looking at some things. And I'm just going to say, without going into it tonight, that my opinion at what I first thought has changed after looking at some things in biblical verses and looking back in the canons. And I see some really deep things I believe could be, I don't know, if they're real, it's probably going to be a Patreon video because I'm not going to be able, I'm sure, to go into biblical as far as what that will have to go. because I'm going to have to. I want to be able to prove my theory based upon the principles of biblical knowledge. So it's not going to be anytime soon because I was working on it last night, and I can tell it's going to take a lot of work. But I think it's an answer that we need if we're going to pursue that idea, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, there's a lot of questions in regards to that. That seems to be an open question a lot of times. People just,
Going down the rabbit hole, I see.
Mm-hmm.
A couple other rabbit holes we can perhaps chase then that might be down that line.
Right.
How about
I figure that.
Here's one subject: a soulless person or NPC, non-player character. Those things that are actually they do exist, but that's something that we probably couldn't discuss here either in
Right.
detail.
Right. Yeah, I've been that actually came into play. One of the favorite terminologies for that is a glove, if you will.
And another rabbit hole I'd like to chase when President Donald Trump mentioned time travel or something manipulating time. I would like to chase down that rabbit hole. What the hell have they been doing with time? What have they screwed up now, I wonder?
Yeah.
I don't know. We better be good, or they're liable to go back in time and find our mothers and do away with this before we was ever born.
Well, yeah, but then they have the Lord to deal with, and I think God can defend us just fine, even if they try to go back in the time and erase it. The Lord will not allow that to happen.
Yeah, I don't believe so either. I believe that, man, you're going to make me go into my theories. I can't do that tonight. We'll be stuck on that. So
this one said that they could go look and see the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, but they could not change anything. And this is factual from actual people who have witnessed with their own eyes, like they were there, from people in this particular subject.
Right.
They said no matter what they tried, they could not interfere with the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, which I thought was pretty fast. I mean, they tried? Seriously? I wonder what happened that did.
There have been
Right.
theories that people can manipulate, if they could manipulate small occurrences in time, but they could not affect large occurrences in time. That's just, entertainment theory.
Oh, it sounds good. I mean, I can't prove any of this, but we know that technology exists. Otherwise, the President of the United States wouldn't mention it, would they?
Right.
Right.
Now you go look at. Sorry about that. Let's get back on the subject.
Amanda, I sent you some messages today. I figured you got called in and had to work. You do have a link if you want to join us tonight. I figured you got called in. I know you're working a lot, but that link is there if you're able and want to, and you're not too tired. I'm kind of winging it tonight, so there's no telling where I'm going to take it with sleep deprivation, but should be an interesting night. So,
never mind.
What?
Your other theory is another night. Never mind.
Yeah, because I'll end up getting stuck on that tonight for sure. No doubt. The case we're going to talk about tonight, I know, is going to cause a little bit of a ripple in the community. Back whenever I first started my page, Randy, I know you was there. So this was one of my first investigations. Sunshine was there. And this was actually one of the ones that I done that kind of caught some backlash. I'm not going to burn anybody tonight. I'm at work watching. Okay, Amanda, we appreciate that. Thank you for at least being here. But whenever what happened is I done this investigation, and some people, thought that I was wrong, which is totally fine with me. Randy knows I'm fine with that. I'm a very easy person to talk to give opinions to. I'm very open-minded. Randy, he knows that because me and Randy's had some really in-depth talks, and he
agree. And there's times you and I don't agree on everything.
Right. Exactly. But we're adults and we're able to agree to disagree. But I was hit pretty hard on this one. A lot of people thought that, I was wrong in this case. So I decided to hit this with an open mind and see if from when I first done this investigation to now, if my theory would change. The only difference I can see in this, after speaking to my buddy, used to be partner at the time, he said it's interesting to him to watch because when I first done this, I was fresher out of work, so my mind was back then more set on investigations, and he believes that it would be interesting to see what I come up with now. So we're going to see if my theory changes. What we're going to talk about tonight is Tony Ahrens is going to be the first person we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about Amber Miller. And tonight's question is going to be the same question that everybody has asked and everyone has argued about: was it dogs that killed her? Was there a corrupt police department that covered up for this man? And is that really all there was to it? Now, I done some digging, and I did reach out to some friends that do have access to material that the normal civilians do not. And we had what we would call a formal discussion, and we shared ideas based upon evidence, okay? And that's what I want everybody to understand tonight. I'm going to give you an opinion based upon the factual evidence of the case, not the rumors or the narrative that was trying to be pushed. And that always happens whenever you have media involved in other things. You have a narrative, you have, the narrative they want you to believe, and then you have the truth. And I think what we want tonight is the truth. So, as always, we will have Randy and Jesse involved in this, and they will give their input. And I will share information that I was able to find, and we will see where this goes. Like I said, I want to see if my mind changes or if I stick by my first, what I said at first. What I said at first in my first video when I first done this investigation, I will hold myself to the fire. As I said, I did not believe it was dogs, that I believed that it was cryptid. So that was my first theory on this case. So I did go deeper on this case, and I called, and I will share what I can share, and we'll see where it goes. So anything y'all would like to add to that before we jump into this one? I've got quite a bit of material on this, as it is two people combined into one investigation.
No, I'm ready.
I think I've stalled long enough.
All right, so we're going to talk about Tony Ahrens first. Tony Ahrens was the age of 52. The date of the attack was April 1st. The location was at the intersection of Coronation Way and Jimtown Road, which is in Cock County, Tennessee. The suspect that everyone is saying, and I'm going to say everyone because I'm not going to say the police department said this, but the suspected cause of death is dog attack. Okay? That is the suspected cause of death.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the date that this happened was a moon phase. On that date was a waning gibbous at an 82% illumination. Perfect hunting moon, according to my theory. Now, the actual report on this was Tony Arens was found dead at approximately 12:40 a.m. April 1st in the yard and home near Coronation Way and Jimtown Road. That is according to the official records. Remember what I told y'all in the last show? You have what you call an official record, and then you have what they call police reports. Those are two different things. On April 1st, the Clark County Sheriff's Office found 52-year-old Tony Ahrens unresponsive with cuts across his entire body and flesh missing from his left arm. It was reported in the doctor's report that Tony Ahrens' left arm was barely attached, with major vein, artery, and soft tissue damage all the way to the bone. He had major lacerations all over his body, neck, head. His trunk of his body and his back had numerous lacerations that were indicative to a knife attack or knife stabbings. Okay. Now, whenever you go back and you look at this, detectives that were on the scene are trained in animal and human attacks. Whenever you have a detective look at something, even if he's wrong, and he says, I suspect this is a knife because of the lacerations, because of the stabbings, because you got to think, a knife, most of the time, whenever you're stabbed, is going to leave a wider entry than a tooth.
Mm-hmm.
So he is seeing something that is not normal that he would see in his everyday work, which is leading him to believe and to suspect that it could possibly be a knife. Now, detectives are human just like everybody else, and they make an observation at the scene, which is usually the beginning of an investigation. It gives him a way to go until it is proven otherwise by forensic psychologists and forensic detectives and DNA and other such things that can change a case and head it in a different direction. Now, he was lying on the ground at the intersection, like they said, of Carnation Way and Jimtown Road. He was torn, he was bloody, and his clothing was almost all removed, according to the incident report. Now, where this happened, and they are very clear to put this into the report, is that near where Charles E. Owensby, 69, lives. Owensby was a dog owner and a trainer for the police department. He was the one that found Arens' body, according to the incident report taken by the police department. So, Mr. Owensby, 69 years old, working with the police department as a dog trainer, is the actual person that turned in this attack. Now, what was really interesting to me, and I'm going to let you all kind of chime in on this part and see where you all go with this, but what was interesting to me is after Owensby, you have to think about it like this. Mr. Owensby, all the way up until this point, you have this death of this attack. The police are not even talking about Owensby. Owensby is not, not important. Owensby's not, this or that. But all of a sudden, whenever Owensby says, "Hey, there's a man attacked out here. He's deceased." This is a gruesome sight, guys. This is not just a attack. This is a very gruesome attack. He reports it. All of a sudden, whenever he reports it, Owens becomes a suspect. And the weird part is they're not going after him for a suspect to murder right now, or even his dogs attacking him. They're going after Mr. Owensby for other things. They're trying to get him for drug possession. They're talking about all of his past history. They're raiding his family's home, his home, and they start putting articles out into the public that he's done this with the police. He's been, in trouble for this. All of a sudden, his credibility is under attack.
So nothing prior to this, but now all of a sudden, since he did the report, it sounds like to me like they're trying to discredit him and shut him up.
Looks just like a smear campaign.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's discredit him so that anything he says in the future is not going to matter, and we'll just ruin him. Which doesn't make sense either if he was a dog trainer for the police as well.
He got too close to the truth, and they're trying to shut it up. Because the truth can't get out.
Yep. It sounds like whatever they were trying to do, they would rather lose him as a dog trainer than have him come out with anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Aaron Groom, we are boots on the ground, my man. It's exactly what we do. And, it is not just military that uses that term. I would argue that with you, because whenever I worked at the police department and when I worked in security, I worked on the special operations and tactics team. We also used boots on the ground. Matter of fact, that was an insignia that was above our door when we entered into our gym. So I would argue that with you, sir. But anyways, moving on from that. Hey, Mr. Walter, how you doing, my man? Arens is the first of two people who appear to have been victims. And now listen, the wording is what's important here, of animal attacks in the area. Now, at this point, the police have not said dog. They have said animal attack up until this point. What is the classification of an animal? The classification of anything that is not an animal is a human. Anything that's not human is considered animal.
Mhm.
Dr. Christopher Lockmuller of the Forensic Center cites multiple animal-induced injuries, okay? Again, multiple animal-induced injuries as the reason for Arens' death. He was found lying the night of April 1st on his right side with obvious soft tissue injuries. At least one animal, again, guys, this is the police report, one animal also is suspected in tearing his clothing from his body. At this time, we cannot be 100% sure that this is an animal, as it is an ongoing investigation, as it could be a homicide due to the nature of the wounds. I think that's very important. These wounds, what it's telling me, is these people, investigators, detectives, forensics, even your forensics now, are not familiar with what they're looking at. This is not something that they have seen. It's still under investigation. We can't say it was an animal. We don't know that it was an animal because it doesn't look like what we normally deal with.
Mhm.
So there, to me, there is still a discrepancy of what took his life. Hello, Tim. Good to see you, brother. Glad you was able to make it in here. He was found lying the night of April 1st, they said, and he was on his right side with obvious soft tissue injuries. At least one of the animals had removed his clothing, which I thought his clothing being removed was very, very, very important. His injuries included, and guys, if you have a weak stomach, this may not be the one for you. His injuries included a ruptured vein in his left arm, ruptured artery in his left arm. He had a partially ruptured vein in the same arm. He also had numerous abrasions on his torso, neck, head, and some puncture wounds on his head and neck that resembled a large style knife, according to the police report. And the police report again stated, and I underline this because this is what the forensics said in their official report. Whether this was one animal or not an animal, but if it was one animal, the type of animal at this time is unknown. That is Mr. Lockmuller's report. If anybody wants to look it up, it's Lochmullers. He is the forensic investigator in this case, and he says he cannot be sure of what done it, and if it was an animal, it is unknown animal.
But at this time, they still think it's absolutely for certain one animal.
No, he says whether this was one animal or more
Oh, okay.
than one animal, or if not an animal at all.
Okay.
So there's a huge, there's still a discrepancy at this point. To me, what that tells me, a forensic investigator guys are amazing. Okay, these guys know their shit. When they show up, they have a mind of their own. I mean, they are totally like they can rewind a scene almost in their head. They're amazing. I mean, total respect. And if he's showing up and he's saying, I don't know if this is one animal, more than one animal, I don't know if this is a person, because, man, this looks like knife stabs and there is so many injuries, and this guy's arm is almost detached.
I wonder if this is the point in the movie when they pick up the phone and they call the X-Files and request Fox Mulder to come and take a look at that.
Right. And that's exactly kind of where this is at. It's something that they're not understanding. This is not what I would call normal, routine investigation. It's not something that they're familiar with. Now, what the forensic report did state is it says the wounds appeared to have been inflicted before Arens died, according to the report. Arens almost lost every bit of his blood. This guy bled out really bad.
What would cause somebody to bleed out fast? Would it have been the arteries that were severed that they noted in the report?
Yeah, it would. The artery that was severed was the one right underneath the arm, right underneath the
Okay.
bend of the arm.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be major. But then they turn around and the police department makes sure to throw this in there. Methamphetamine also was found in Mr. Arens' system, according to the report. And we believe this could have been a contributing factor.
The meth didn't call. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. I don't see how that was a contributing, factor.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But the meth did not cause his injury.
No. But what I do believe they're doing right here is they're using the meth to discredit him, because what a lot of people doesn't know is Mr. Arens was homeless. He was a homeless man.
And he was a meth user.
That's right. So one bad person gone. Who cares, right? We really don't need to spend a lot of money on this. Let's just bury him and be done with it. He was a menace to society anyways, right?
Nothing to see here, people. Move along.
That's it. But they didn't expect somebody else would be attacked and be deceased that actually had a family that cared about her, did they? And that's what I believe blew this whole case up. So I started asking myself in this report, I said, who is Charles Owensby and why was he implemented? Why was he such an important figure in this case? So when you dig into Mr. Owensby, Cocke County, Tennessee, it was updated on July 28th. The man who reported the first two violent Cocke County animal attacks is now facing a marijuana charge, according to the Cocke County Sheriff's Office. Why all of a sudden is this man being charged and investigated after reporting this for things that aren't even prevalent or even nothing to the case? Why are they going after him so hard over petty stuff?
Smoking mirrors.
And it would almost make anybody else who sees a crime or a witness to a crime not want to come forward and say anything. So, I'm sure everybody else that actually knows what's going on in the area too probably wouldn't want to say anything.
Because there's people talking, that doesn't make the public channel. The people who sit there knows that there's a monster out there somewhere, or a serial killer. One of the two. Maybe both.
Well, and if you think about it too, logically, within the whole cryptid community, again, you turn around and make people sound like they're crazy to witness these creatures and have strange occurrences go on, and turn around and make them look like they're crazy. They're not going to come forward. They're not going to say anything. They're going to be quiet, and they don't have to worry about them.
Because number one, if there's any tourism in this town, whatever keeps the town going, something like this is going to slow down the money flow.
Mm-hmm.
they don't want that to stop. Whatever it is, whatever kind of commerce or business or tourism, something like this would interrupt the money flow in that area of your business corporation. And they don't want that coming out, would be my guess. And they don't want
who wants to live in a town where people are getting dismembered by an unknown animal?
Exactly. I mean, whether it's a werewolf or some other, cryptid monster.
Right.
And exactly what Dawn said. Tony was butchered, man. This was a horrific scene. This was, I'm not going to read everything just out of respect to the family. But, I mean, this was a horrible scene.
Was there any DNA testing done on the body recovery?
We shall get there, Mr. Watkins.
I don't need to do that yet.
No, that's a very good question because it's going to be very important. Chief Josh Hartsville, the county jail administrator, said the marijuana charge was the only charge he knew of for Charles Everett Owensby whenever he was questioned by family members. Family members were suspecting that Mr. Owensby may be being looked at as a suspect in the murder because all of a sudden he reports it. He got raided. It's a small town. Everybody's talking about it. But the police department, they're saying, no. This has nothing to do with none of that. This is just a marijuana charge. So you report a crime, you go to jail.
But they put this in the investigation that they charge this guy.
Yeah.
How does that have anything to do with the damn murder?
I can tell you why from what I've learned. I was trained in media relations, and what I can see what's happening right now is they're spinning a narrative that, and they're not saying this. This is my opinion, guys. They're not out and out saying this. But they're making it sound like Mr. Owensby is a drug sailor because you're going to notice in these two deaths that both of them had methamphetamines in their body. And they're discrediting him from the beginning, saying that there was drug interactions going on at this home. And they're trying to say that he was probably a drug user that was raising these vicious dogs. And they were all over their party and doing drugs. And this is what happened. It's called a containment theory. It's where you contain a horrific incident to one area to tell the public that it has been rendered and took care of, and there's no longer a threat. That it was, it's not like something that's continuously a threat, that it was just contained to this area. It's been took care of, and it was these drug dealers over here, That is my theory. That's a theory that was not written.
They got to blame it on something.
I mean, everybody needs a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Why not blame it on some dead guy?
Right.
Who's going to argue with you? The dead guy?
Right.
That's probably a one-way conversation, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because moving on, the CCSO said a SWAT team executed a search warrant at the property of Owensby's ex-wife also. Now they're going after his ex-wife. They're going to raid her house with a SWAT team. Cecilia McCarter in the Edwina community, Owensby was located at the scene and arrested for possession of marijuana at his ex-wife's house, and an aggressive dog was taken into custody. The Cobb County Sheriff's Armando Fontes said. So, again, I'm not going to give my opinion because it would be pure speculation, and I don't want to make people think another direction is where we're headed right now. But
what would be your speculation at this point if one was to ask that? Let's just hear what your thoughts are at this particular moment without any more information added to this.
Well, I think that you have a death, and I think that the sheriff, being an elected official, has to at least make it look like he's trying and he's doing something, and there's been an arrest made.
Correct. I wonder if this is around election time.
It would be interesting to know that.
Because you know politics plays a role in these kinds of things, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Especially in a sheriff's department. Police departments are appointed. They're hired. Sheriff's departments are elected officials. So there's two different kinds of politics there.
Yeah.
Your police officers are owned by your city management, and your sheriff's department is owned by your county. I went blank. Your county. What's the word I'm looking for?
Dude, I kind of lost my train of thought. I was thinking about something else.
County commissioners. Sorry, county commissioners. It came to me. It's all politics.
Yeah, and especially around election times because they don't want to make waves.
Well, ask yourself this question. How can county commissioners and city management be over your law enforcement for the county and the city when they don't even hold a cleat license? But that's another conversation for another time.
That's probably a rabbit hole that probably shouldn't be discussed for entertainment purposes only.
Absolutely. So, Sheriff, yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. I just want to throw that out there as some fun facts.
Well, we can just classify that under secrets, and I'm not going to say anything like that.
Right. So, Sheriff Armando Fonte said they have, and here's what you wanted to know, Randy, that they have collected DNA evidence from Owensby's dogs and dogs that were buried on the property. He had some dogs that were, some had died and some had been shot. They had been executed, and he buried them on his property. Inside Owensby's home and from his property. So they seized the dogs outside, inside, everywhere from his property. Fonte said, this is a police report, they don't know if Miller, we're talking about Amber here, which we're not going to go deep into her right now, but this was pertinent for this part right here. They do not know if Amber Miller was attacked inside or outside of the home. Now, to me, would it not be obvious if it happened in his home with the amount of injuries that were sustained in the case? I mean, this makes me wonder who is the scapegoat here, because if you have an attack like that inside of a home, I don't think you're going to be asking, did it happen in the home? I mean,
there would be clear evidence.
It would be saturated. It'd be saturated.
Yeah.
That person losing that much blood, unless the blood was drained, there would be blood everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it sounds to me like they're setting this poor guy up. And I'm not saying that this guy is innocent. And I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm not saying that at all. He may be a bad guy.
He could be a skipper.
but I don't think he's getting a fair shake right now. And I think anyone, no matter their background, that they deserve, a fair trial. Not to be picked on, or that normally doesn't happen. But investigators collected DNA from 2 other dogs at the location that belonged to other people in 2 separate homes on the property. They wanted to be thorough with their investigations of the dogs in the area. Fonte said deputies have probable cause to seize the animals. I do agree with that. I agree with the probable cause on that, because you do have 2 deaths that a forensics person said could be an animal. One of the dogs at the Owensby's ex-wife's property was seized by the sheriff's office, and the sheriff said they have an order to euthanize the dog. That's where I start getting a little irritated. A hearing was set for August 26th. Now, they've taken this lady's dog. They've collected DNA from the dog. They don't have any results, but they're already got an order to euthanize this dog. So this dog is guilty before it's ever tried.
Did dogs get trials?
Actually, They kind of do. Well, in a weird sense, they do. Whenever they're quarantined, They actually undergo court hearings in determining what is to happen to that dog, if it's to be released back to the owner, adopted out, or if it's to be euthanized.
But in these cases, I've never heard one of not being put down and blamed for the horrible event.
Right.
Well, when it comes down to it, again, you're talking. I'm not going to go there because
They're not
situations.
If there's any chance the dog killed the human, they're going to put the dog down to make sure it doesn't happen. But when it continues to happen, and you continue to kill dogs, and the bodies keep turning up, what you're doing isn't working.
Like the song "When the Bodies Hit the Floor and They Don't Stop." Whenever you keep saying you're killing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they know what it is. They're just going to do this to cover it up because they have to, because they can't let the truth get out. Can you imagine how many lawsuits that they would have in law enforcement if the general public found out that law enforcement were all in on keeping this shit a secret? You don't think the people wouldn't get pissed off?
Right.
Well, like what Sunshine said, the dog clearly did not have teeth the size of a big knife.
Exactly. And when the coroner tells you he's puzzled, maybe you need to get somebody else, somebody higher up, a different organization. Maybe call in, I don't know, maybe one of the three-letter agencies for help. But I'm sure they already know this.
Well, you've got
they have a response playbook that they have to go by on these kinds of things.
Well, you don't only have a coroner that's puzzled, you have a forensic psychologist that's puzzled. You have forensic experts that are puzzled. Crime scene investigators are puzzled.
Right.
So, I mean, but here's the thing, though. Here's what I found really important. When you dig into that, the sheriff made a boo-boo. The sheriff then came back and redacted that statement and made another statement and said, "I'm sorry, guys, I misspoke. When I told you, the reporters, earlier, that the dog had already been put down and was going to be euthanized, well, that hasn't been done, and there is no order to euthanize the dog." And then he goes on to talk about there have been cases where dogs are blamed and they are destroyed with orders not to collect swabs or necropsies. But that's not what we're doing here. I'm sorry, but that
they're telling on themselves right there. You're getting a glimpse of the truth. This is an active cover-up.
Right.
That's not what that screams.
Right.
That was a Freudian slip that whoever does the final check before they release it didn't catch that.
Right. So, but we're not doing that here, guys. I misspoke the other day. Even though I told you we're going to kill this dog, we're going to euthanize it, the order's already been made, I misspoke. We're not doing that here because that does happen, and we're not one of those. I would hate to even be the person giving that speech. I mean, my God. Could you imagine?
Okay. Look at Roswell. When that first happened, they're claiming that it was a UFO, and then they go on counter and say it wasn't. We're seeing the same thing here. We're getting a glimpse from the Freudian slips, from what gets out. We're getting a glimpse of the truth in these reports, I think.
Well, it gets even better. Well, I don't know if you call it better. Let's just say it goes even further down. Because while searching the scene, and this is a police report, while searching the scene from the SWAT officer's police report, officers located a shallow grave at the property. It contained a dead dog. Investigators collected DNA from it, and they seized a vehicle owned by Owensby to undergo forensic processing. So now they have charged this guy with marijuana. They have raided his home and his ex-wife. They've taken all their dogs. They've asked him if the deaths happened in his house. Now they've came back and they have now dug up his dead dog, took it with them, and now they've taken his vehicle for forensic analysis.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
It
there's got to
looks
be a
like
judge. There's a judge in Cocke County that loves signing his signature because, I mean, they're getting warrants one after another, man.
they got to make it look good, like they're doing something. It's smoke and mirrors. They got to make the people feel. So by going after this guy and making him look like he did this, or they're trying to make the public look like they're taking care of the.
Here's my first question for you for the night, guys. My first one. At what point does a department start getting to the point to where they're inciting violence on somebody by making them look like a suspect in a murder of a loved one that was killed? I mean, how many times do you get to throw the dart at the board until you get a bullseye?
If you're the one making the rules, as many as you want.
So I dug deeper for y'all. This is where I had to contact a friend to be able to get some of this information. Not all of this is readable on regular social media. The vehicle went through forensic testing. The conclusion of the testing on the vehicle was no evidence was produced from the vehicle pertinent to the attacks or the investigation. The vehicle was clean and returned to the owner. Also, note, this is in there, this is how it reads. Also, note, there was no evidence produced from the dogs that were seized in the Tony Ahrens investigation that connected the dogs to this attack, including no DNA evidence at all.
So, okay, so they just admitted that they were wrong.
Well, it goes further. DNA evidence that was taken from the scene was sent to a forensic expert. The forensic expert's conclusion was this was definitely an animal attack, but I do not feel confident in naming what animal would have perpetrated this attack. The DNA collected is part canine, but is also
Part human.
contaminated and parts unknown.
Of course.
Species of the animal that attacked Mr. Arens is, in my opinion, unknown and unsubstantiated and cannot be substantiated as to what done this. That was his professional report.
It's not a human, and it's not an animal, based on that report. Am I reading that correctly?
Whatever done this had parts of canine DNA, but they were not recognizable in any data bank as any kind of dog that we know of. And they had parts of the DNA weren't even like recognizable. They didn't even know what it was, if it was dog or not.
That would make it supernatural creature at least.
Right. Hey, Starfire, you're not blocked. I'm sorry. I'm watching two screens and chat is flying, but nope, you're here and we're glad to have you and glad to have everybody. You're not blocked.
So could it be that the reason why the DNA was undetermined isn't necessarily because it was a dog DNA, that it could have been and I don't know um, if what you're saying in the what you've said is that these are the same creatures, these are the same things, and it just looks more dog. Anybody that could have possibly seen it would have assumed it was a dog, but it's actually a Sasquatch, and that's why it's coming back as undetermined DNA. But they're pushing dog because it's was seen, or they assume that it was a dog.
No, because I have a different theory. I don't believe there was a witness to the case. Now, the synopsis on this says that there was a witness to the case. It said the dogs did attack Amber, but I'm going to break that down here in a minute because I'm going to totally tear their narrative apart because I don't believe there was a witness to the case.
Okay.
I believe because Mr. Fontes also was asked by a police officer that said, is it possible that the victim's blood was mixed with the canine blood to where they were unable to determine if it was a dog because it was contaminated by the victim's blood? The forensics expert stated in his report, no, that would not be possible. The canine blood would have been distinctive along with the human in the DNA genobank. It would have came up. It would have shown and DNA tagged all blood types. But these blood types were unknown. So back even in my first report, and I caught a lot of hell from this, I said it was an unknown canine, which I was very happy to find this report that is archived. It says unknown canine DNA mixed with unknown contaminated DNA. They're not even saying what the other is. They're just saying it's unknown DNA.
Could it also have meant corrupted DNA?
Yeah.
Could it have been
They did.
contaminated DNA?
They did say that. They did say that. You're right. Yes, they did say that, Randy. You're correct. You're correct. They said that it was contaminated.
Okay. So could we draw some lines here on the data towards the Nephilim? That this creature could have been some type of Nephilim ancestor or a kinfolk or something based on that? But without further evidence, I know that's a stretch, but that's where it's pointing. It's like, to me,
I would agree with you.
The DNA would have shown a dog. If it was a human, it would have showed a human. But it's showing stuff that shouldn't exist.
Yes, Sunshine, you're going to be very happy because that is going to tie into this investigation. I tied it all in, guys. I went deep on this one, and we're going to go a lot deeper because I knew that I will be rebuttaled on this. So I tried to leave this one with all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. I've done my best on this, guys. I spent a lot of time on this, so we're going to take this all the way down. In 2014, there was a court affidavit. The court affidavit shows his dog was on the front porch, and it became aggressive with the Newport police. Now, the document said that Owensby ran out the back door after the police identified themselves, and the dog was aggressive. Okay. Now, where I tear this apart, and I'm going to do my best to stay fair to it, but if you own a dog, it is the dog's job to defend the property that he's on. You can't necessarily go to a property and a dog try to bite you, in my opinion, and rule that dog aggressive. That dog is only doing what it is trained to do. It's protecting its property and it's protecting its owners and its family. So in my opinion, you cannot call a dog aggressive because police officers show up and the dog tries to defend his yard and his property. Dogs are man's best friend. I believe that the dog was doing his job. That would be that's my opinion. Now, my other opinion is they are again pushing the dog as the predator, and that seems to be the narrative. But, another thing that I thought about this is Owensby ran out the back door all this other stuff has happened to him. Why would he not run at this point? I mean, my God, why are they back? You
Right.
know, are they coming to finish me off because they can't put nothing on me? I would probably run.
You
I
think he's
mean,
figured out that they've got it for him, and he's running for his life now?
I'm just speculating, but I would say he's running out of fear. Yeah.
Right.
Cluffington.
Mm.
At the time, they were serving a warrant. Here it is. This is why they were there, guys. Here we go again. They, at the time, were serving a warrant for possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, reckless endangerment with a weapon, aggravated assault, and violating an order of protection. The charges stemmed from a 2014 gas station brawl in which Charles Olden told Newport police that Owensby approached him with a gun, pointed it in his face, and screamed, "We're going to end this today." So from 2014, nothing happened, all the way up till 2021 when he makes the reports of Tony Ahrens, and now they're throwing everything at this guy they can.
But wait, wasn't he training police dogs at that point too? So why wouldn't that have been something that was questioned even prior to that?
They made him the scapegoat. There was nothing wrong with this guy doing his job up until this point, in my opinion.
Right,
And
but then it looks bad on them too, that here they're using him to train dogs, and yet even if.
But then and again, what they do is they turn around, and how they scapegoat this out is later on in the report. You'll see what they did is he's actually not an officer. He's not CLEAT certified. So he's not a officer. And also they're going to label him later on as he was nothing more than a drug using informant that was ratting out all the other drug dealers in town. So they've already got their cards are played.
Patsy. They got their patsy, right?
Oh, yeah. So at the same time, they arrived, guns drawn, they kick the guy's door open, he runs, which I don't blame him. I mean, my God, how many times are they coming for you?
Right.
And the charges were in 2014. Now, notice none of this has anything to do with the attacks on Mr. Ahrens or Miss Miller. But it does focus on destroying the credibility of Owens, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
This is entertainment purposes only. Olden said Owensby then struck him in the face with the handgun. He told his dog to attack Olden, and then he attempted to run Olden over. So Owensby's crazy, man. This guy is out of control, drug user. This guy is worthless. He needs to be took care of, right? But here's the thing, and I found this really important. Owensby went to court. He was charged. He was formally charged. All of his offenses were dropped, except for evading officers and running because there was a legal search warrant served, which he did violate that by running. He was charged for that and cited. He got off all the other charges because the man that said that he hit him in the face with his handgun didn't even as much as have a knot or a red spot. So the judge ain't even buying it. I mean, he dropped every charge except for evading.
Now, you tell me if this guy hadn't had a good week, he couldn't have got him off on this crap. I mean, seriously, they wouldn't have been there without those other charges sticking. That should have been thrown out. The judge should have thrown that out.
Right.
In my opinion. Looking at the evidence, the data, you don't think they don't work together to cover their own?
You know what my opinion is on it? And it's just an opinion, and it's just a theory. Oh my gosh, I'm probably going to hate going down this rabbit hole. So, okay. So what if you're trying to get rid of this guy and you go to his house and you set up a warrant and what if theory, entertainment purposes only. What if you go to this man's house and you set up this story that he attacked a man with a gun, right? You attack somebody with a gun, even using a gun in the commission of an assault is considered, a deadly threat. You can use, justifiable homicide for that. So if you go serve a warrant on his house and something happens, it's already documented that he's attacked one guy with a gun, right? What happens if he doesn't run that day? Does he pull a gun on him and they have to take care of him? Because if you take somebody to court, what happens in court whenever you have all these charges? Well, something does happen. You got jurors that are not part of your little plan. They're going to see a whole lot of things that ain't going to add up. So how do you keep the jurors from seeing all this? You drop the charges and you write a citation that doesn't require a legal court hearing. Theory only, entertainment purposes only.
I never thought about that.
Now, look at this from a different perspective. The police officers are just doing their job, carrying out whatever the judge orders. There's somebody behind the scenes calling the shot. And if you look at the mentality on the cases, it's the similar mindset on how these things are played out. The mindset behind, you could say, cover-up. The same mindset is there. No matter what, they cannot allow the truth to come out. People cannot know that monsters are real. Can you imagine the panic that would ensue across America if people knew that monsters can open a portal and grab your kid and there's not a damn thing they could do about it? You don't think there would be some panic there?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, oh my God, I'm not going down. No, I'm not going down that road.
That's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. But if we was on Patreon, I could take this a whole lot further. But
Sure you can.
But I can't right here.
That this leads to other things, and they kind of tie in together. They do connect. All this stuff in some way, from the supernatural to these people getting killed and abducted. There has to be some kind of, they're tied together in some way, shape, or form, if that makes sense. But you have to look at the bigger picture on what's going on.
Close.
And that's a rabbit hole discussion.
Well, the bigger picture is, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to move just right after this, I'm going to move on, is you're fighting a brotherhood. Okay, so there are numerous other assault and battery charges that was listed on Owensby's record, including ones from Georgia and Florida. They were dismissed. Tony Ahrens died from multiple. Okay. Tony Ahrens died from multiple animal-induced injuries, said Mr. Fontes, the sheriff, according to an autopsy report from the Knox County Regional Forensic Center. The report was released by the Clark County government on Tuesday. So I got a hold of the report. And not only did I get a hold of the report because the last one I had was called into question, I have the notarized death certificate, forensic evaluation from Otis. If anybody knows what Otis is, I have the official record. The official record states as Tony Arens, 52-year-old male, succumbed to injuries from an unknown animal. The report also says the autopsy could not determine whether this attack was from multiple animals nor what type of animal would have done it. That is the official report. It does not say dog. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I was right the first time. So just going deeper into it to make sure no other types of injuries were determined from the autopsy. Now, DNA tests were taken. No DNA tests from the animals or from Mr. Ahrens's body during the forensic analysis showed dog DNA. What it did show was DNA that was canine in appearance but contaminated with another DNA that is unknown. So the determination of the cause of death remains unknown animal. Now, they brought in, I'm going to go further because I knew I was going to get questioned. So when you go into a specific website, you can dig deeper into things that people can't. They were not happy with the analysis on this. So what did they do? They hired a forensic bite specialist. They can take any bite mark from any animal in the world, and they can tell you what made that bite. Now, Mr. Ahrens was bit beyond multiple times. Not one bite mark came back conclusive of any known animal. Let that set in, guys.
So how can they claim an animal did it if they can't claim a particular animal that the bite marks match up with?
Because it's not because it's not human. Anything not human is classified animal. That's how they can get away with it. It's that, for instance, you find a Bigfoot body right down in the woods. They don't have to treat it as a normal human body. They can treat it as an animal body, which means the government can take it and not report it. They can burn it. They can bury it. They can do whatever they want to with it because it doesn't fall under the laws and protection of how you deal with a human body, and you don't have the chain of command.
And they have these loopholes in here to cover situations like this, so they can cover them up.
Right.
Because these monsters exist, whatever the hell it is. It's not a normal damn dog or critter. It's something else. It's a supernatural monster that feeds on people, evidently. And they cannot say that these things are real.
Oh, it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't got real good yet. Let's see. I'll try to go to chat here for a second. So I saw someone mention that these people were on drugs. It would be interesting to know how many of these type attack happens to people on meds or drugs. Romans, I don't think it really matters. Out of all the cases I've studied, I mean, down to even children, I don't think it matters. I think it just is opportunity. Now, could drugs play into making you an opportunity? Absolutely. If you're inebriated or something like that, and you can't, you're walking, you're stumbling, you're falling, or something like that. I think that at that point would become more of an opportunity. But as far as them attacking you just because you're on a certain drug or something like that, I don't think so. And that's just my opinion. I don't know, but I don't think so. And I'll let Jesse and Randy tackle that one too, but I don't think so.
I think they use that as an excuse that, I mean, just like anybody that comes out and says, hey, I've seen something crazy out in the woods, what's the first reaction? People go, oh, were you drunk? Were you high? What were you smoking? But again, I've never known anybody to hallucinate on marijuana or on alcohol like that unless they've been mixing it with something else. But of course, first reaction is, well, you guys were on drugs. So again, to say that a case like this where somebody ends up dead on the side of the road, yeah, they were on drugs. It's just another excuse.
Just like the smear campaign or the discrediting, like they did on that one guy. They have to repeat this. They have to continue the same MO, the same cover up. So
Right.
they've got the system designed so that they can do this. This is
Right.
not the one little town doing this. It's nationwide, and it's a global wide. It's global wide. It has to. Well, some countries are more open with this stuff, but at least in this nation, it's across the nation to keep this secret. I mean, we can clearly see that.
Yeah, I think
because
one of the
same.
most open countries is Russia.
Mm-hmm. You ought to go. Yeah, that'd be fun to go there and do some of that. That'd be some fun.
Probably not right now, but yeah, it would be fun.
In the future. Well, I mean, if there's going to be a nuclear war, and I don't care where you're at, unless you're in an elite and you have a bunker to go into, a nuclear war on the surface isn't survivable. So all I can say is trust God, because if they push that button, you're going to meet them. And you better know Jesus Christ before that happens, because you're going to burn forever. At least that's my opinion.
I believe you. There's only one way. There's only one way, and that's through the Son to the Father.
And if they're trying to get there. They're trying to get to somebody to push that button. If you're watching the current events, people. If you're not, you're living under a rock somewhere. You better wake up.
Right. So, I knew that I would be probably even rebutted on the information that I've shared with you. So, the second part of this is going to go even deeper to prove my theory and my hypothesis, and it's going to be based on Amber Miller. We're going to talk about her now. She was attacked in the same place where she lost her life, the exact same place, 522 was the address, by the same animal, same MO, and we're going to take it even further down. Are y'all ready for this ride? So the next lady we're going to talk about, her name is Amber Miller, gentlemen, ladies. She was 29 years old. The date of the attack was July 12th, 2021, 3 months after the attack of Mr. Arens. The suspected aggressor in this case was a dog attack. She was found alive and partially consumed, later deceased from her injuries, just like Brenda Hamilton was found in the ditch full of water, partially consumed and alive. We have an MO in different states now. So in theory, we have a serial killer. If you look at it as a police report, you would have a serial killer.
Mm-hmm.
You have the same MO. You have got 3 bodies, 2 in one state, same area, 1 in another state. You possibly got a serial killer at this point. The moon phase of this attack was a waxing crescent, 7% illumination, low light attack. And I'm just pushing that, folks, because that was my theory, and I kind of like to do that.
It sure seems to be matching up on some of these cases. I mean, you're like spot on the moon phase when these attacks occur.
They seem to line up. Yes, Kaylee, It is terrible. It is very terrible. 3 months earlier, April 1st, a man died in what the department called a previous attack of similar nature. Both happened near Jimtown Road. Almost exact same location. The police department says, again, animal attack. They can't say anything else. I mean, that is the final conclusion, is animal, as we just spoke about in the death certificate. 7/19 of 21, a woman is killed by the pack of dogs, is released by the media. Cocke County, Tennessee, a 29-year-old woman died after being viciously attacked by a pack of dogs near the intersection of Jimtown Road and Carnation Way. This is the second fatal animal attack in the same area by dogs in 3 months. On April 1st, Tony Allen Ahrens, 52 years old, was also found dead in the area. His body appeared to have been partially devoured, also the same as Amber Miller's. This is the media and the friends, etc., are pushing this narrative, not the police. Okay, what I think happened, and I'm going to throw this out there right now, is whenever I done my investigation on my first one, where I was called on it and said I was wrong, what I think happened is those people made the mistake that many people make in murders and other things. People, just like what I took, media relations, you can push a narrative. And what you're seeing here is the police are saying animal, the media is saying dogs. The police never say dog. The media says dog. Amber's best friend says dog. Forensic psychologist, the police, the coroner, and the death certificate don't say dog. The media is pushing an agenda here, and people bought the story. It was a dog. Even though officially it was an animal, the media and her best friend said it was a dog. So what did people run with at the time? It was a pack of dogs. It makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
It took the family members of Amber Miller, who was attacked on July 12th. She died 6 days later, speaking to the media in order for the public and the media information about these two deaths. Miller had so many wounds that the emergency department said they could not count all of her wounds. Could not count them. Miller's great aunt, Regina Josephic, said Miller fought for her life at the UT Medical Center and died on July 18th. Meanwhile, the Clark County Sheriff's Office said that both fatal attacks were under strong investigation and they suspected it was the same animal. The police department again suspects it is the same animal, not the dog. Steve May said he found Miller up against a tree following the attack and described taking her to the hospital in his truck. I just hate to walk up and see a person in that way. I'm glad that I was there to get her to the hospital, but I'm just sorry that we had to see it. The report said that she was not cooperative during the investigation. Well, duh. She would probably be in shock, would be my guess. So I doubt anyone would be cooperative that was just devoured alive and both of your arms are barely attached. And your calf muscle is completely removed.
They said the same thing about Brenda Hamilton.
Same thing.
There's the mentality behind it, the mindset. There's a mindset behind all of these. If you look.
Mm-hmm.
He said she was just sitting there. This is his statement. She was just sitting there in that yard in front of the tree. Her arms were tore to the bone, and her leg was the same way. That poor young woman had been feasted on alive. That poor girl, I've never seen nothing like that before. I seen a guy get his throat cut before, but after seeing that, there's nothing that can compare to what she looked like. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigations confirmed it was helping now in the investigation.
What time was she found?
I don't know exact time, but early morning, I believe.
That's horrible, man. Ugh. And she was non-cooperative. How disrespectful.
Yeah.
How disrespectful to the dead. But that's part of their discrediting their MO. They have to discredit any witness that comes forward, any victim. If they discredit them, it makes it okay if they die.
Right.
Because
exactly.
Because cooperate with the police, we're just going to sweep her death under the rug and move along.
Right. Dana Ortega, good to see you. Glad you was able to make it tonight.
Hey, Dana.
So Roman says, so now they're saying definitely animal and saying it's the same animal, but they don't know what kind. Yeah, I'm not suspicious at all. I agree. They don't know. And what they're counting on right now is for, in my opinion, for the media to CYA and hopefully the media is going to be able to push this narrative that it's a dog. She was, like I said, she was found in the same intersection in the yard of 522. If anybody wants to look this up, you can look it up on Google Earth. It is 522 Jimtown Road is where the location was, with 3 dogs standing around her and licking the wounds where she had been attacked. Now, this goes back to where what Jesse said earlier, that there was a supposed witness to this attack. And I think that came into play, and a lot of people questioned that whenever I had done the investigation. So what I found on that was the gentleman that there's some discrepancy here, and there's some speculation here, because the gentleman that found Amber Miller said that the dogs had attacked her. But in his report later, his official report, he states that when he drove up, she was already against the tree. The attack had already occurred. There was 3 dogs there. The dogs were licking her wounds, but he wrote himself, the dogs were not aggressive. So I spoke to my friend that is a canine expert again, and he said, if the dogs were aggressive and they would have done that damage to her, they would have protected their kill. They would have been even more aggressive whenever they would have tried to save her.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he said, dogs do not like to eat human meat. Those dogs were licking the blood on her because any dog will do that to try to clean up anyone that is wounded. He said, I can cut my finger and my canine dog will lick my finger, because they do that because a dog believes that they are like we clean our wounds. They're cleaning wounds.
Mm-hmm.
He said, if those dogs were aggressive, they would have attacked. Now, the problem is, though, is the media took what he said is him saying he witnessed those 3 dogs attack her because those 3 dogs were there. That wasn't the case. He said in his official report the attack had already happened. The dogs were just licking her. He got out. There was another gentleman with him. The dogs were not aggressive, were never once aggressive toward him. As they loaded her, she, unfortunately, guys, was screaming, I don't want to die. Don't let me die. I don't want to die. Miller had severe injuries on her legs, torso, neck, arms, and feet. A report stated she was eventually airlifted to UT Medical Center, where she died. Witnesses told authorities, and here you go again. This is where the real breakdown comes down, and this is what I found here also. Exactly, Dana. They would have, exactly. And I'm glad Dana said that. We're getting to that right now. Witnesses told authorities 3 dogs attacked Miller in the front yard of 522 Carnation Way, Newsport. Clark County Sheriff's Department investigated the witnesses and found the witnesses to be the man who found her. The man who found her's official report is on file, and it is listed as A, which means it's Exhibit A. When you look at Exhibit A and the report that he gave said that whenever he arrived, the attack had already happened. The dogs were merely licking her wounds, and at no point were the dogs aggressive. The dogs were quarantined and checked for any types of DNA in the fur, the mouth, and the paws. No DNA was found on the dogs except for in their mouths, and their bite marks did not match the bite marks on Miss Miller's body, which the dogs were released to their owners. Miller's left upper extremity was amputated. Approximately 42% of her skin was gone. The autopsy obtained the manner of death. Now listen to this, guys. I have the autopsy, and you tell me if this is, and I'm going to let you all have this after this, Randy, because I know Randy's going to have something to say. Randy, you know what the autopsy listed the manner of death as? You want to give it a guess?
I don't know. Let's hear what the official. I don't want to hear. Too many holes down right now.
How about this? It gets even better. The manner of death listed was an accident.
That is total BS. What? How can she accidentally ended up like that?
That's what they listed it as. It is listed as an accident. At this point, an accident.
Accidentally attacked.
That still doesn't make. I mean, normal. Even if it is an accident by what? An accident by. Okay.
This one must have been so horrible that they didn't even try. They just said, "Screw this, guys. We're going to sweep this one under the rug," and because it's just too horrible. I mean, we've got two people. Same. They can't list it as the same because then you've got a shared death with the same MO on the recorded death certificate. Does that make sense? They have to break up to where you cannot track the data. There cannot be a paper trail. So they have to do this. You cannot have multiple people shown with the same death certificate as the same cause of death. My guess here, this is my guess, this is part of the deflection campaign. Does that make any sense or not?
Well, what you're doing is you're not allowing a pattern to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly my point. So you can't. So this cannot be. So there's no way that somebody can put the dots together, if that makes any sense. The framework together as
right.
Because if somebody goes researching this, but the discrepancies in the report, this is part of we cannot have. Does that make sense? Do you see the mindset here?
I understand. This is exactly.
But when you look at the bigger picture, you don't just look at the reports, but you look at the overall. We can see the mindset, that there is a mindset that no matter what we say or do, the truth has to be concealed here. They have to conceal it. No matter what they do, they have to conceal the truth. And that's what we're seeing here. If you look at the different reports and go over the data, you can see there can't be any links to the data. They have to they can't have the data similar. There can be no trail to this. And we're seeing that. That's why none of this makes sense.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And Bohica's right. Using logic hurts stupidity people.
Exactly. And occasionally you get the Freudian slip where they let something slip that they shouldn't have. And we see that.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Stockholm effect is used in some cases.
Exactly.
Did I just say that? My gosh, I can't say that.
And like that one case, they used professional, they paid witnesses that were not even witness to whatever. They were just paid off for part of the cover-up. They deploy that as well. And this is, again, for entertainment purposes only. This is just my opinion based on looking at the data.
Hey, Gary, I've thought about redoing that one too. I don't know if I will. This one took a lot of work. I don't know if I want to go back into an old case again, but I've thought about doing Corey Godsey again for sure, but we'll see where that goes. I may end up doing it. What the heck? So they come out and they throw this out there after all of that, what I would call asinine. A toxicology report showed up that Miss Miller tested positive for multiple drugs, including methamphetamine. Methamphetamine and fentanyl were found at the time of her death in her body. I don't care. I'm just going to say I don't care. You're not charging a lady for drug use. Why does it matter? What you're doing is you're trying to save a lady's life and find a predator.
Right.
Are they actually finding drugs in their bodies? Are they still not in there as part of the cover-up.
That's what the toxicology report says.
I mean, why are they including? I mean, does that make any sense? My question.
It makes sense to me for a toxicology report to be in the death certificate, but it doesn't make sense to me for the police to be pushing that she was on drugs and she was known to do drugs and where she worked and she had been, had a bad life and, her dad was a police officer that was killed in the line of duty and she took it really hard. And that stuff is not pertinent to the investigation. The death certificate, yeah, I can see that because it is the findings of the autopsy. But as far as the investigation, I don't see where it has anything to do with it.
Right.
That was like they're just like trying to discredit this person.
Right.
To where if they're a meth addict, it's not a big deal. Because meth addicts die all the time. Do you see that mentality?
Right.
They have to control the name.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly, Johnny. Is it Johnny? Or Jeremy, sorry. Jeremy. Well, it gets better, folks. In a bad way. They worked on Miss Miller 6 to 8 hours every day at the University of Tennessee Medical Center in Knoxville. And they said she had so many wounds, they could not even count them. They said Miller's great aunt Regina was really hit hard by this after seeing her like this. They had already amputated one of her arms, and now she was facing sepsis from all the bites. And so whatever attacked her gave her sepsis. Still, now here you go. Medical examiner comes into play. Here comes the medical examiner. Medical examiner takes her, does his thing, autopsy after she passes away. Says she has extensive injuries that ultimately led to her death, and that sepsis was a secondary infection that took her life. Now, the autopsy, whenever you go and pull it, says, after thoroughly examining Miss Miller's body, it is my professional opinion that no animal can be named in this attack. Based on the DNA study, it comes back inconclusive for any known animal, and the listing of the attack that killed her is an animal attack of unknown origin.
So, same thing.
There is no way something can attack somebody, do that much damage to you with its mouth, with saliva, with DNA, and you cannot collect DNA. That tells me absolutely whatever attacked these two people is not in our data bank. Or it's not in a data bank that normal people are able to access.
And they're trying to cover it up. Yep.
Because they cannot let the truth be known to the general public. And you can see that. There's no way law enforcement's this stupid every time on all these cases. I'm sorry, but you might have occasional dumb detectives, but they can't be this stupid across the board. And you see this stupidity, and I'm just saying the inconsistencies in all these reports, in all these cases, there's similarities if you know how to link the chain of evidence.
Mm-hmm. Right. Hey, T-Bone, good to see you. So whenever she came in and you look at the autopsy report, this is what was sad, is both of her arms were barely attached. Like, medical staff said they thought her arms were going to fall off. There was parts of her missing that was consumed by whatever done this that were never found. Same as Mr. Ahrens. Same as the school teacher. And whenever you look at other things that happened to her, She was alive and consumed while she was alive, folks. She was alive while something feasted on her body. You have to understand this. When you're out, even as an investigator or someone that walks to the barn at night just to feed your animals, these are not like people were attacked and they were killed. These people were attacked and ate on while they were alive. And they were not, these animals were not even merciful enough that they killed them. They left you laying there alive to die from what they had done to you. That is what they will do to you. And I think you're seeing by these reports that if that ever happens to you, what's going to be said happened to you. It's going to be an animal that took your life. That's what I believe. And
Hey,
it ain't
Mike,
going to be easy. Do what?
on this note, on this part of the story here, when I warn people don't do anything you see Mike do that you could get seriously injured, killed, and even eaten alive, I'm not joking. I'm not playing. I just had to let you know that.
And if anybody's ever been attacked by a dog or a cat, you know how bad it hurts when they bite you, that feeling of, oh my God, make it stop? Guys, that is minute to what it will feel like when one of these attack you.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're going to be looking at. You can go back. I've got buddies that are police officers that have been rushed by dogs when they went to houses and have had to shoot dogs. Did you know that 9 times out of 10 when a dog is rushing you and you shooting, he don't just stop like in the movies? He usually makes it to you, and he usually does do damage to you. Guns are not like the movies. They don't blow people backwards. They don't blow you to the ground. There has been people hit by rounds that don't even know they're hit that continue to come at you. That's why police officers are taught to shoot until they stop.
Mm-hmm.
Because people can continue to fight. They don't go backwards like the movies. So if you have something coming at you in the woods, just because you shoot it doesn't mean it's going to die immediately. It may do to you what it's going to do and then go die, but that really defeats the cause of having a weapon.
Once adrenaline comes into play, yeah, there's not a whole lot stopping.
And just to remind y'all, if you're out in the woods looking for monsters and gets you and drags you off, just remember this is going to be your fate as it's dragging you off. It's not going to kill you quickly. It's going to eat you slowly.
Other things that I found, I'll share with you guys just so you know, and I think this is important. There was large paw prints found in the blood near Amber's body. Amber was almost nude, guys. Almost nude. Now listen to this if this don't blow your mind. Every bit of the evidence at the crime scene was later released, except for the photos of the paw prints. They have not been released, and they said they will not be released. Y'all can look that up if you want to look it up. It is public knowledge. The paw prints have never been released, and they said they will never be released.
Why?
Because they're not normal dog size, I would say.
I know, but why wouldn't they give a reason for it? Why?
They cannot show you that it's a footprint of a werewolf or whatever. They do not want this information known that these creatures exist. They have to cover all existence of everything these things do. They can't have a footprint floating of a werewolf or whatever type of supernatural beast this was. They cannot have that footprint shown. Right. That's why they won't release it, in my opinion.
But do they have to give a reason why they won't release it, or can they just say, we just aren't releasing it?
Oh, we can just say we're not releasing it. I mean, I could do that all the time when I worked. I can just tell you I'm not releasing it, and I don't have to give an opinion or a statement or nothing.
And since it's an open case, they don't have to release it.
Right.
Is it still an open case?
Yes.
Oh.
Hey, Larry.
You can't do a request for them to get, because if it's an open case, you can't do a opens request, or what is that called when you're
FOIA?
asking to, yeah.
So, yeah,
that's another loophole that they can use to cover up what they're covering up. This system is not designed for us to find out the truth.
Right.
It's designed to continue to do what they're doing, and them to operate in the shadows. And
Absolutely.
we're seeing this.
I think so. Just so you all know, and I found this, y'all probably already going to guess this, but just so the audience knows and everybody knows that no one was arrested or charged in the Cobb County Sheriff's Office on either attacks to date. There have been no charges. So, as I promised, my conclusion at the end of this, we will see if it changes from my first investigation, I guess. So before I give my conclusion, my theory, would you all like to give yours, or you want to wait on mine, or how do you want to do this? I'll leave that up to you guys.
I'm good to go. What about you?
I'm good. I already, yeah. Pretty much, yeah, conclusive anyways.
So let's hear what your conclusion is on this case and see if there's a difference between the last conclusion.
They can't arrest a werewolf.
So I went a little deeper on this one to give a cleaner conclusion also. I went deeper on the investigations, and I'm going to go deeper on my conclusion, and I'm going to give you my theory as to what happened based on the evidence at hand. So if I was trying to pursue a jury, this would be, if I was still working and I was still a professional, this would be my synopsis, my belief of what happened. So questions were asked in this investigation. Why did they not get the dogs sooner? That was one of the main things that was asked in this investigation. Me personally, I believe because they knew all along that it wasn't dogs that done this, and they didn't want to waste their time or resources on something that they knew was not the culprit of this. That would be my opinion on that. Now, what I did find is whenever you look at Cobb County and you look into the history of Cobb County is one of the most supernatural counties in the United States. It also is a county that receives numerous Bigfoot and other supernatural calls. So this is not uncommon to the area. They, in my opinion, went after Owensby because they believed he knew what creature did it. I believe he was an eyewitness to the creature that made these attacks and was aware of what was doing it. And it could be animal or beast at this point when I made this conclusion when I was working on it. But we must remember this. With a witness that said the dogs attacked her, and the media along with the same thing, and Tony Arens, except no witness charges have been filed, it seems to be clear to me that the media was used to push the agenda of a dog while the police department stuck to the facts and released under the cover of darkness that it was an unknown animal. Thereby, I believe they were playing the community using psychology to push an agenda to cover a case. That to me means they know more, and they know that Mr. Owensby is not guilty. They have enough to charge him and to take him to trial and to make all these charges on him. But for some reason they don't do it. I believe the reason they don't do it is because they know that the case is weak, and they know that by bringing in the citizens of their county is only going to open up more of their internal affairs that I believe are, I'm trying not to be mean here, we'll say nefarious.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing also in my conclusion is that to me means that we have to remember in this case that we're looking at evidence here, and if we're looking at evidence to be able to give a clear and concise opinion, some reasons that they won't do it also, I believe, is because their case is weak and they know their case is weak. But we also have to remember this, that nor in either case by any dogs, if it be by DNA, necropsy, if it be by fecal matter being tested for DNA or anything, guys. Even the vehicle that was seized all had nothing to do with the death of these two people. No DNA or evidence was ever concluded to this case.
Right.
The FBI also concurs in this, that there is no evidence linking them to the murders. FBI agrees. Brenda Hamilton was in the same situation when she was found, and I believe it was a cryptid based on the 911 call that I was able to pull out that was later used by another YouTuber that stole my ability and my credibility, I believe, on that when I found it, that there was an upright canine in the same area that attacked her. It was a black, dark-and colored, bipedal creature seen in the field adjacent to the area Miss Hamilton's body was found in. A 911 caller had called and reported this, but for unbeknown reasons, the 911 dispatcher took it upon herself to change it to a misidentified animal, which should have never have happened. This tells me that our agencies appear to have an agenda or a rule book to follow. That would be my opinion. Based on the evidence in this and based on the death certificates that were provided by forensic specialists and people that are far smarter than I am in forensic science, have stated that there is no possible way that they could determine that a dog had committed these crimes, that it was yet a contaminated DNA. With me being a Christian and my belief in the Bible and of God's Word, and that the fallen angels corrupted the DNA of all humans and animals, it is my belief that no dog or human committed these crimes, but in fact, it is a cryptid or something that we are not at least aware of, or an unknown animal that we have never had the pleasure of cataloging. It is something that we do not know, and I still stand by my first decision at the first video I done, and I will even come back and say, as digging even deeper, I stand even firmer on my first theory. So I'll open the chat to discussion. Randy, you and Jesse are open to discussion on this, and I'm going to open up everything fully, and that's all the notes I have. So now I can see chat. I can open everything.
I cannot see anything. I don't disagree with your findings. I mean, the data pretty much shows us that it wasn't a human being. It wasn't an animal. With the discrepancies from both deaths, the reports showing one thing, and I mean, you can see that there's a cover-up. We can see that clearly, and I would have to agree with your disclosure or your findings, if that makes sense.
Mr. Cluffington, good to see you, my man. ¿Qué pasa?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. I mean, not much else to say. It sounds pretty.
See, I had heard also rumors that some of the homeless people have been seeing creatures, but that's just speculation. There's nothing official.
You're actually right. It is true. There is police reports of that. That's why whenever I said in my report that it is not uncommon for that area to receive supernatural or Bigfoot reports, there is thousands of reports police have taken in that little community of Bigfoot, werewolf, dogman, flying creatures, supernatural. It's not uncommon there at all. It's actually very, very, very common. Thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. That means a lot coming from you, man.
Not all those people can be crazy.
Dana wants to know. Oh, go ahead.
I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, Dana said, what was the size of the bite wounds? Was that ever stated?
The only thing that they stated about the bite wounds is whenever they brought in the bite specialist. The bite specialist stated that the bites were not anything that was on record, and they could not conclude anything. But what they did say, and I thought was really important, was it wasn't that they only had one bite to work with. They said they had numerous bites to work with, and none of them matched anything. So I think that even gives us a wider area to even be able to say that this wasn't something we know of, because we're not having to base everything around one bite mark. I mean, we have multiple bite marks, which in my opinion would be an investigator's heaven to have multiple things to be able to compare to a test. And when those don't match, I think that just shows more corroboration that this is not something that we know of, or something at least not a lot of the population has had an encounter with.
Did they give any type of distinction as far as the size at all, or in the reports, or how many teeth they were able to?
The only report that would even shed a little light on that is one of the investigators said that Miss Miller's full calf was removed in one bite mark, and all of them agreed that no canine or animal known in the United States would have the bite pressure to be able to remove the whole calf. Parts of the calf, yes, could be removed because the bite radius of an animal here would take out half of it. It wouldn't be large enough to remove the whole calf. Her whole calf was removed to the bone in one bite. One bite. And one of the investigators said he would compare it to what he would call a bull shark.
Yeah.
In the report.
I was gonna say I've heard sharks doing that, but
now, guys, I can tell you from being close to large werewolves, their bite marks would be hellacious. I'm 6'2", weigh somewhere around 290, and that thing could have bit me in half. Or it could have picked me up and swallowed me without chewing. Okay, these things aren't little bitty fuzzy things that you curl up with. These are monsters. And if they can, they'll kill you and eat you if they get the chance.
I agree, Don. I think they're also still there. I'm trying to grab another chat if I can grab it, guys. Let me see. Maybe. I seen one right here. That's the one I wanted.
I wonder if there's been any spotting of special forces making errands through that area after a lot of sightings happen, I wonder.
Yeah, that'd be a good question.
Not that I could find.
I wonder, or do they just allow them to kill them and it's okay as long as they don't take too many of them?
Right.
You know, that's always been my question too. Are they like allowing these things to go out, and are some of them part of their experiments that they just let loose, and if they take a couple humans, they can just write it off and no big deal?
What if they're more than an experiment? What if they're a species designed and they let them out to feed on these particular times of the month when the moon's at a certain place in the sky where it's harder for human beings to see them?
I mean, we've heard that they've been called assets before.
Yeah, and they can outrun a Black Hawk, and then they've been able to track these things, like they have some kind of tracker in them where the military or whoever owns these things, these creatures, can find them.
Or collars.
But that would be down, you're looking probably towards a black project, and that would be a rabbit hole topic.
Right. And Dawn says that road is pitch black at night. And to answer your question, Dawn, yes, they do absolutely still get reports of these creatures in that town and in that area. It is an ongoing, they said it's not out of the norm to get these reports. I guess this place is pretty heavy in that stuff. And if you go to Google Earth and you pull up the address, I believe it was 522 Jimtown Road. If you pull that up for Cocke County, you will see that there's a lot of mountains around that little town. It's a pretty small town, and it's a very isolated little town. So it would be...
That'd be a place to go camping.
Kind of reminds me of the movie 28 Days Later.
You want to go do a group here?
Yeah, I'll pick you up on my way.
I would not go out there in the woods by myself. That's one spot that I wouldn't go alone.
Yeah, I'm kind of dreading my camping trip too, but I got to do it. I got to get it out of the way, so it's going to have to happen. As tired as I am tonight, I should do it tonight because I could probably go down there and just go to sleep, and they could beat the hell out of that car, and I ain't going to hear them.
Dude, you don't want to go down there like that. You want to be rested up because if something does come near your camp, you want to respond. You don't want them knowing you're asleep. God knows what you're going to find if you wake up from that.
Yeah, I would hate to wake up with one of them having my gate open looking at me. Now, the one thing I do like about my vehicle is it has an aftermarket security system on it. So it does have the sensor on it that if you touch the car and like rock it or move it just a little, it will set it off. So it does have sensors everywhere. So I do like that part. And it's got a really loud siren on it. So I'm hoping that at least if they set it off, it'll startle them enough to run them away. All I need to do now is hook up some infrared lights to it that come on automatically too, that circle the car.
And like a minigun, with AI control to only kill the supernatural monsters and not you when you're running back to your vehicle, right?
Right, exactly. So now, guys, in chat also, if you have any questions about the last boots on the ground, we can discuss that now. I know Randy's got some questions about it, and I am going to say that got pretty damn hairy out there. That was there at the end. Kaylee will probably agree. I was ready to get her out of there. I don't know if y'all heard it or not. Could you hear the thing swimming across the creek when I told her it was time to go? Could you hear that?
I could hear something going on in the water, but I didn't know you had one swimming in the water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was why we started making our way out of there.
I heard something when you were talking about going to the bridge. I heard something say Kaylee's bridge, like we're waiting at the bridge for Kaylee or something like that. So it's probably a good thing she didn't go to the bridge, because I was hearing some EVPs after you mentioned that she was to the bridge, and they sounded excited. They sounded happy. And that was scary.
I think they were. I appreciate that, Gary. I really do. Thank you very much for that. I'm seeing so many questions. I'm trying to catch them all. I'm trying not to miss any. The splashing, Romans, definitely. That was what I heard. And the splashing sound like somebody swimming. It was that doosh, 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 except for a lot bigger. And it sounded like boulders hitting the water coming across the creek. And I told Kaylee, that's when I said no. Because I planned on standing there using that well as a backdrop to answer questions and to talk to everybody. But when I heard, you all heard the rocks landing in the water, right? They were chunking rocks in the water left and right. And then whenever it started swimming across, I told Kaylee, I was like, no, we're not going to interview here. We're not going to talk here.
I heard the big splash, but I didn't have my headphones on, so I didn't hear the other stuff.
It was bad. I mean, it got to the point to where that one that stood up, Randy, that we were talking about, my God, did he not show off or what?
He was showing you how big he was.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm strong.
Well, I mean, I was impressed whenever he just stood up the first time. But whenever he kept going up, I was like, fee, fi, fo, fum. What beanstalk did you fall from?
And see, a lot of people don't understand. They think these things don't exist, and then when they really encounter them for the first time, they're shocked. They're like, "Oh my God, they're real!" And that's a bad situation to be in when you first encounter one of these, knowing that, hey, they're not fake, they're not legendary, they're not a myth.
And the moan, yeah, there was a moan, and then when Kaylee found it today. When we dropped the rock down the well after we done that, there was another moan.
Oh my God!
It did that the last time you. It did that the last time you dropped something down the well. The last time that you were there, it did it. It did a moan also.
So
could there be stuck in the well from the water being hot, and there's some creature that's now down in the well because the water level's so low, and that's the only place that it can reside? I think you need to drop something down the well and find out. I'm just kidding.
Or it doesn't like having rocks thrown on it.
Well, what was weird, it left a rock on the side of the well. Did you notice that? It had left a rock there.
Mm-hmm. Like it was inviting you to drop it over.
Yeah, it got really, really dusty body there of me from running away. Yeah, I didn't want her to run, Clough. I was afraid if she did, it would cause it to attack. She was, she listened really well to me. I was really proud of her how she listened, because a lot of people at that point would want to try to get to their vehicle. I'm trained differently through SOT when they trained me, as I stop and I take a defensive posture whenever I feel that I'm being surrounded. And that's what I was explaining to Kaylee's. We need to wait here for a minute, because I had a great spot to defend me and her. There was a lot of tree cover and we had a lot of cover. And I didn't want to move her out into open ground, especially the way they were moving. So whenever they kind of quietened down, I don't know if you heard me yell at one point when I yelled for it to get back. And when I yelled get back, I actually, you can't see it, but I'll put it to you like this. I flashed it with my red pin light that I carry in the face. And whenever I did that, they all hauled butt toward the creek. And it may or may not have been a pin light, but they got the idea.
You got your point.
Do it.
You got your.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it understood that language for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Kaylee was holding the camera, and you're getting all that eye shine, and you can see her hand trembling slightly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God bless her. He was a hell of a trooper. I mean, that's a lot of bravery after being scared, what scared her the last time, then to come back out here with you. That takes a lot of bravery, especially for a young woman. You know, hats off to her. Awesome job, Kaylee. And good job, Mike, for keeping your shit together.
Yeah, it had the the opportunity to get really bad, and I knew that it could happen really quick. I was feeling a lot better though when I got to the vehicle, and I saw little bitty green lights all over the field and the road. And I was like, oh, okay, we're good. Yeah. So I knew we were good at that point. And that always makes you feel good whenever you see the cavalry sitting down there, you know. But yeah, I mean, it could have got bad. I think, honestly, man, Kaylee's whistle, she can whistle like crazy.
Oh my
And
God. I had my headphones on my ear, and it's still, I can still hear it just as clear as day. That's a, send me that video of how to whistle like that. That'd be a good whistle to learn.
she got it down. Guess what she's going to do tomorrow night? The same whistle off into the woods again from a new location.
Hey, when you get them standing up like that, start talking to them. Hey, how you doing? Try to engage in conversation with them and see how that goes.
I did, but Kaylee got kind of mad at me. Did you hear what I said to it? Whenever I said, hey, you want to wrestle? And Kaylee said, stop, Dad, stop.
Remember the last time you were taunting them? They don't have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
They don't have a sense of humor.
And what'd you think about the large spider we found in that tree hole with that little tree and that mushroom growing in there? That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Well, that was a heart-shaped hole.
Yeah.
With the spider in it. That'd be like a good intro for your, like, shining a light in the darkness and playing that little video with the spider with the light shining on it, and the spider comes out. Dude, that'd be awesome intro, I think.
May have to try that.
Shining a light in the darkness, bro. There you go. There's your intro.
Yep. Thank you, Carla, for that. You know, when we went down to the water, I expected, you know, when we first went down to that one spot, I thought that would be the worst spot. But, you know, it really, that first spot wasn't that bad. And do what?
I did too.
Kaylee thought that spot was going to be the worst too, and it wasn't. But I don't think it really started. I don't know, Randy, and I don't know why they would be at the well, but it seemed like that's where they were all at. Because when we started heading back to that well, she done that whistle though. Man, that whistle, it hurt my ears, and I heard it echo through the woods and down the creek. So
that might have been why you had 9 of them coming up, because they were curious to see what that sound was coming from.
Yeah.
And they were coming up to say, who is this out here with Mike? That's not the normal whistle we hear.
Right?
She got their attention.
Yep.
I think she got more than what she barked.
Well, Mom even made the comment that when it threw the stick, in front of Kaylee or whatever, was they getting more aggressive at the end because we were leaving and they didn't want Kaylee to leave? Because that's when they started. That's when they started moving up.
Could be. Because there was that EVP that came through too, the mama at the end also.
Yeah. Mama. And that's what they were doing to your sister and Sarah Mama. And that was freaking her out.
I wonder what their thing is with calling women mama.
Maybe they want them to be the mama of their children.
I don't know.
Or are they calling for mama to come help them?
Yeah.
Are they calling for their mom because they're scared and they want the mama, whatever, the Bigfoot or whatever, to come and help them? I don't know. Or are they trying to just lure you over there to them with that?
Right. Yeah, OCST's right. When we reached that water, they were like, "You're not coming any further." I mean, them rock. Did you see the rock land in front of Kaylee? That would have killed her. I mean, that was a huge rock, and it came from 60 yards from across the other side, and that was a huge rock.
And they threw a rock and they hit your cell phone. Was it a stick or a rock that hit your cell phone that night?
Stick.
Have you ever trying to a stick and be very accurate at very much distance? I mean, think about that. And they could throw a much bigger one that could have just crushed you. I mean, they could probably pull up one of those trees, out there and throw it at you if they wanted to. So they're not trying to kill you. These are just little love. They're playing to, or they're warning you, my guess.
My friend kind of spoke about that last night, and he said, they're not trying to kill you right now. And he said, right now emphasized. But he said, they are not afraid to hurt you. He said, because you took that hit with that rock to the head that night in the temple area. He said, I think he was trying to drop you.
Testing to see how hard they actually had to push to take you out.
That was kind of...
A hard hat might be helpful in the future. Just saying. Especially if you're going to go there. You're going to
what kind of saved me is that light that I wear. It has a plastic band that fits on my head, and the rock hit the band and still knotted my head. So I did have plastic in between my head, but it still put a knot on my head.
You need something like a Kevlar helmet, not just a regular hard hat.
Oh, God. There ain't no way I could do that. Game warden shows up and I'm dressed all out like that.
Yeah, but if they throw one of them rocks hard enough, I mean, it's going to be like a bullet.
He's liable to give me a bullet if I come out there dressed like that.
Well, it might be your security team have to come and carry your ass out.
Yeah.
If they knock you
out. Yeah.
Again, the police, when they go into a riot, they put on body armor. You're going into harm's way. These things are throwing sticks and rocks at you. I would look at protecting your head and your daughter's head in the future. I would look into that, Mike. Because
if they hit her in the head, it'll sound like a big bell. It'll go bong.
You do want her to keep going out with you, right?
You do know you have to sleep sometime, right?
Well, unfortunately for everybody, after this next one we're doing tomorrow night, the Boots on the Ground guys, we will be out Boots on the Ground tomorrow night, so come and join us. The thumbnail's already out, so go say hi in the live chat and hit the notify you, so you'll make sure you get notified tomorrow night. But after tomorrow night, guys, I am making her take a break. I am going to pull her because I am not going to jeopardize her. Tomorrow night, we're going to a new location, but I'm not going to make it a steady thing for her. She's pretty busy right now, though, because She's working on AI Seeking the Truth, which she's doing really good over there. A lot of people are enjoying her daytime adventures. We just got the review posted to Patreon and the members. And also, Kaylee is working. I don't know, which one you're working harder on, Kaylee? Are you working harder on Wide Open Adventures right now or your AI channel? Which one are you working the hardest on right now, your AI channel or your Wide Open? Which one are you investing in right now?
Both.
She said pretty much both. She's dug into both of those pretty good. Sunshine, thank you for that, and God bless you for that donation. So yeah, Randy, I think we're going to keep her on the AI Seeking the Truth and Wide Open Adventures. We got an awesome Wide Open Adventures channel video coming out. We've done a cookout, getting ready to do a lot more tomorrow on it. Probably going to be some polo and might be a new animal coming to the farm, huh? And it's not Kaylee. So y'all's going to get to see a new animal.
Werewolf? I'm kidding.
We're getting a werewolf. We're going to go catch it tomorrow night.
That would be good security, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Imagine putting that on a leash, walking through the woods.
You're not going to keep that on a leash. Sorry.
But yeah, she's excited. I think we got a lot of filming to do tomorrow, huh? Still yet for Wide Open. Smash burgers. We're making burgers on the grill tomorrow. I think it's going to be part of the video. We got some.
They're better than the Sonic Smash burgers.
Huh?
I just hope they're better than the Sonic.
Well, they'll be better. And what else did we get? She got some fries today. What kind of fries are those? She got some waffle fries. So we're going to cook out. Randy, tomorrow's high, man. What do you think about it? Oklahoma, 60s for highs, man.
Nice. I'll take it.
Me too. I'll take that every day and twice on Sunday.
Into that room.
I love this weather. Make it cold, make it snow, man. Let's get out there and do some squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting. I'm ready for all that.
Well, it won't be long. Winter will be here.
I'm ready. I love it.
It's supposed to be a bad winter.
I walk around with my shirt off and my shorts in the winter in the snow. I love it.
Well, yeah, we do here too in Wisconsin, but
I love it.
Still not looking forward to it.
I hate summer. I wouldn't care if we ever had another summer. I wish we could go like winter, fall, spring.
You know, you can put enough clothes on to stay warm, but you cannot take enough off to get cool. Even with nothing, it's still hot as hell.
That's right. Sharon Guy, thank you very much. Sharon, I put a lot into this one. I told you I was putting a lot into it. So I hope that I was able to answer the questions and why I have the theory that I have on this case. I hope that it's as clear as mud. You think?
I think it's clearer than mud. I mean, you know, it's pretty clear.
I tried. Larry, we're going to be in the 60s tomorrow. And I think we're going to drop down into the 50s tomorrow night. I may be outside just enjoying it. And you know what else that means, Randy?
That'd be good catfishing weather, man. But
hell yeah. And also the bugs are going to be going away.
Yeah.
I about gagged last night, and so did Kaylee. We both ate a few bugs. So
I hear you eat those Oklahoma protein shakes on a regular basis, man. Both of y'all getting them pretty regularly. We can hear it.
Donna, don't worry about it at all. We don't worry about that at all. If you got things to do, we understand that. Just come back and watch it when you can and leave a comment. As you know, I answer every comment. So I will see it, and God bless you for your support and even being here right now. So thank you very much for that. You know, guys, there's something I wanted to say before we headed out tonight. And I'm just going to say it as an open-ended thing. Whenever you play with the devil and you do evil things, he gives you a credit card. That credit card has a limit. At first, it's all fun. You get to go out and buy everything you want. You get to live life, destroy what you want, do what you want, and you don't have to worry about it. But over time, those sins, or should we say the money, it draws interest. And whenever it comes time that you've reached your limit, it doesn't matter how much you do, you can never pay back what you've borrowed, because he's a liar, a thief, a narcissist, and he will steal from you. He's the biggest thief and liar there is. And what he'll do at first is he will send his demons for you. If you will, the collectors, just like you get calls at night, the collectors. Thank you, Larry, and everybody for those donations. God bless you. They're the collectors. And no matter what you do, you're never going to pay those little demons off when they call. And you can only block their phone calls for so long, because then what happens? The president of the bank decides to foreclose on you, because now you owe him for what he's given you.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes time to pay that pound of flesh, trust me, he's going to take it. Guys, that's all I got tonight. Randy, unless you want to add something, or Jesse, I just wanted to end with that. And I just want to say that the Lord Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. He loved me enough that he died, rose for me, defeated death and sins, and he gave me a chance for eternal life. A person that is not worthy, not good enough, and I fall short of the glory of God every day. But thank God he loved me and had a pure enough love. He died for all of us, guys. Remember, a horrible way, knowing that there was a chance that you may not even accept him as your Lord and Savior. He done it anyways. That is true love. And my channel and all channels, my life and all that I have, guys, I give glory to God.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Yes, praise God, Dana.
Randy, would you like to start walking us out of this one, my man? That's about all I got.
Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we couldn't have a show without you. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, members. Thank you, moderators. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Jesse. And thank you to everyone else. God bless you, each and every one of you. God bless your families, and good night.
Yep.
Jesse,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here, showing your support. Appreciate each and every one of you. God bless and good night.
Guys, I want to thank everybody for your support. Clough, thank you for that super sticker, man. God bless you for that. I appreciate that. And I just want to thank everybody that's here tonight for the good friends in the chat. Y'all are like family. And I appreciate the support that y'all have. It means a lot to us. And just remember that there's only one way to the Father, and that's through the Son. There's only one road. Until next time, guys, which is tomorrow night, and I hope to see y'all on the Boots on the Ground. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. We'll see you on the next one. Good night, and God bless.
Good night.